Here we are, logging on everywhere. Okay, Anders. There we are. Hello, everybody. It's good to see you again. It's been a while since we've been here.
It has.
I am Mary Ellen, your host, and with our very favorite clairvoyant medium, Jerry McDaniel. How are
Thank
you
you very
doing?
much. And you are live from New York.
I am from the New
Oh,
York sanctuary. So we have very special announcements. Should we get to them right away or?
sure. Absolutely.
Okay. So, Central New York is where I grew up. It's my hometown, and I am out here in the country, what seems like the middle of nowhere, and just a beautiful, beautiful spot, especially right now with the autumn leaves. Oh my gosh, it's so nice here, but it's cold. Anyway, we are going to be setting up another base here in Central New York. So, in no way, shape, or form are we letting go of Florida and all the great events that we're doing in Florida, but we're going to start doing more events here in the Northeast, particularly during hurricane months. That would be June, July, August, and September. So that's the idea. When it's cold, we're going to be in Florida. All the snowbirds from New York can come visit us in Florida at all the great shows.
Yes.
And there's a real good chance that we might be doing a retreat here in Central New York too, where you could find some of your very favorite readers and speakers up here, where we could kind of do a weekend thing where there is in the summer very little humidity, which is awesome. So yes, I am in my New York sanctuary right now with my flannel on because it is super cold. They make fun of me because my blood got very thin living in Florida all of these years, but
It does that. Yeah.
it's like a high of 30s in the morning. So maybe even like 41.
Ours is a high in Florida of 300. No, I'm just kidding.
Not anymore.
It's in the high 80s. Again, I think as I told you before the show, it's been in Central Florida. It's been nice the last few mornings, but yesterday and today, all of a sudden it got back to the high, like 88, 89, somewhere around there.
Well, that's bearable. That's better than 95 with 100% humidity.
True.
How'd you make out during the storm?
We lost, thank you for asking. We lost power. We're very fortunate. We lost power for about 20 hours. I don't have a generator. I'm just, with my mechanical and technical prowess, I'm just afraid I'd blow the house up if I tried to, I've got friends who live nearby who have a generator. So they go, Jerry, what would you do if you lost power for 2 or 3 days? I've got one of my very best friends, Paul, who lives right 3 minutes from me in another subdivision. And he co-owns a motor company, so he's got everything.
Oh, good.
And my good friend, Rich, lives about 15 minutes away. So they have me covered. I know that sounds selfish, but I'm just not good with generators. So.
It's not selfish. I wouldn't know what to do with a generator,
No.
And it was hard being here, knowing what was going on in Florida. My daughter's down there. And of course I've got my place down there. I've got somebody staying in it. But it was hard being here and worrying about it, and all my friends. And then even still, we did have some vendors that had quite a bit of damage. One did lose their home. And it's frustrating. Not being able to be there, but what could I have done? And even now, I mean, are people going to Fort Myers with food and water? I think some are to try.
Yeah, I think some are. There's been a number of, I won't say GoFundMe, but a number of those efforts are on the way. It'll take them years. It took Punta Gorda when Hurricane Charlie hit it directly back in, I don't know, 2004, I think. It took them years to get back, and Fort Myers was just devastated. Not as much wind as Irma was about 5 years ago, but a lot, Marianne, a lot of flooding, a lot of water. Seminole County in Orlando, where I live, is still things are underwater. There's still
and people don't realize, just because you're inland, there was no storm surge, but the amount of rain that you got, that there was quite a bit of flooding in Central Florida.
Yeah, I've only lived in two places in my lifetime. One of your favorite cities, Memphis, where I was born, in Orlando, and they're both about as hilly as that. They're both just extremely flat. So we're prone to flooding. Our house is up a little bit, so we're fortunate. But yeah.
Yeah, and our hearts go out to everyone who
absolutely
who was affected by that, and that it's just the homeowners insurance. It concerns me. It's already gotten so high in Florida. Hopefully, he's going to get paid and recovered, and so let's picture a good outcome for everybody. That's dealing with insurance issues. What else is so that's our announcement for the sanctuary. We've got Spirit Fest, Port St. Lucie coming up this weekend.
You're on the East Coast of Florida. We're excited. It'll be my first time doing a Spirit Fest in Port St. Lucie. I mean, I covered it in business when I was in business, and we're very excited, very, very excited. And the Spirit Fest have been drawing, the galleries have been drawing really big groups. This one might be different because I'm sure the storm affected a lot of people. It went all the way over to the East Coast of Florida and affected people over there. There was flooding over there. And so, hey, whoever comes is meant to come. So we'll have a great show, a really good time. And
we did check with the event centers of our shows that are coming up. We've got Port St. Lucie here coming up this weekend. We've got Largo in November. They fortunately were spared. They've got a cinder block building. It was, a pretty sturdy location.
Right.
And then St. Petersburg in January, and that's an old building. It's what is it called? Not the auditorium. I'm going to look that up. But that was an old building, and fortunately they also did not suffer any damage. So Good. All of our shows are going on as planned. And we are working on a new website too. So it'll only be another couple of weeks that we're going to have the website here. And then you'll be able to see all of the upcoming shows. But we have 6 shows scheduled between January and May in Florida. So and then our first show in Syracuse, May 2021, up here at the Syracuse Fairgrounds. So super excited. Let's go. I'm going to put up your website on here so that people can see it, so they can maybe learn a little bit more about you. You're an excellent clairvoyant medium. And
thank you very much.
How long ago did we meet? Was it 5 years ago?
I think it was about 5 or 6 years ago. And I don't know how you got my name, but I remember giving you a reading when you were renting a place. Remember, some people were going to come look at it, and I just went, "It's the only thing I remember from that reading." I said, things can change.
You said, "Yep," and they canceled 15 minutes before they were going to come.
Yeah.
So that was, that was years ago. But
yeah,
I knew from very early on. I've been doing this. Honestly, my first psychic fair that I went to, I was 12 years old, and I was brought there by my stepmother because I had been able to tune into a lot of this stuff since I was young. And so I've been experienced with different types of readers, vendors, practitioners. I did my first show on my own in 2005, but Jerry is one of the best mediums that I have encountered. And I
appreciate it. Thank you very much.
But really, you're very gifted with messages from spirit, with messages from those that have crossed over. So we're going to talk for a little bit here, and then Jerry will be giving spot readings, and we will pick them at random. We won't get to everybody, but we do hope that you'll hang out, and we're just going to kind of go where spirit leads us with regard to that. So anyway, so we wanted to talk about a couple of things today. But one of them is the energies today. Not even just today, but the last few months. How have you felt? But I feel like I've just been put through the ringer.
Yeah, it's all over the place. I keep waking up going, Well, I feel good when I wake up and I go to Starbucks, get my wife coffee and get me tea. And I'm like, and all of a sudden there's the emotions, right? And that's what I compare it to. It's almost like my body's moving forward, but it leaves my emotions behind, and my emotions can't catch up. I'll find myself, just slightly off, I'm going to be honest, just slightly depressed, going, there's nothing to be depressed about. I'm not a depressing person. Or down. Let's just use the word down, right? Because depressing sounds too clinical and medical. And that's, Marianne, that's what I compare it to. It could be because of Mercury retrograde, but I moved to this room because it has better connections and it's more private, and the Zoom is better. In the last 2 weeks, because I do about 3 readings a week, really, it's about all I do, and the connection's been bad. And then my phone's gone haywire. It's just, and then I'm getting easily frustrated because I can't, I just can't articulate what I want to say. And so it's been like a roller coaster. It really has.
So I am not an astrologer by any means, but I do know, and I do keep track of what's going on, astrologically. 6 planets were in retrograde for the good portion of this year. And in retrograde means that the planet is moving backwards. So we kind of see the more harsher side of the energies that planetary alignment. And the astrology doesn't make you do anything. It's sort of, I consider it more like a barometer. So if it's raining outside, people are going to be wearing raincoats or rain gear. They might want to leave a little early. They might slip and fall a little bit more easily. That's only how the planetary alignments. It doesn't make us do anything. It just makes us feel, as if we might want to do certain things, or we need to look out for certain things, because it kind of lines those up. So thank heavens, Mercury in retrograde ended October 2nd, although we're kind of in the shadow of it now. But really, we're getting ready. We're moving into the age of Aquarius. And that's really what it's all about, is more about enlightenment. This is a cycle that we're going through, a 10, 20,000 year cycle where the planet is raising vibration, and so are we. We're going along with it. So this was an excellent time with all of these planets in retrograde for us to turn inward, to really look at things. And a lot of things out of our control may have happened that needed to affect us. To get us where we need to be, to shed things that we don't need. But that's how I have felt sometimes, is literally like somebody has just taken everything that's inside me and just ripped it out by the roots and said, here, and I, that's my own astrology as well. But a lot of people are going through things like this. I do hear through some of the astrologers, this is kind of a perfect time for people to cross over, unfortunately, who might be ready. This is just kind of a smooth time for that. And I am hearing, unfortunately, nobody I know has crossed over, but I do know friends that have lost somebody recently, found them dead in bed. So anyway, people are commenting. We've got a lot of comments here, saying, full moon energy always makes me a sleepy old dog. So we got the full moon on top of that as well. So Pluto went direct too. And Pluto is, death, rebirth, and transformation. Basically, it's the big one. So it's a small planet, but it does pack punch. So I wish I could speak more astrology. To me, it's more of that mathematic. I know it's not really math, but that's where my brain goes, and that's not my forte. So
the only, my mom, God rest her soul, was really big into astrology, really big. Should read the Inquirer. The Jean Dixon, was a famous psychic, and she was reading all that stuff. And the only thing I know is, before every gallery meeting, I tell people I don't know a lot about horoscope. I don't know a lot about astrology and those sorts of things. So if you got any questions, I won't be able to. There's people inside Spirit Fest that can really answer those questions. The only thing I know is I'm a Pisces, born on St. Patrick's Day. And then I go, how many people are familiar with astrology and horoscope? And some will raise a hand. I said, for the people that didn't raise their hand, listen to this. And then I go, I'm a Pisces and I'm married to Scorpio, and everybody goes, oh, and the air just goes out of the room. Everybody starts laughing, and they just, oh. I said, what? You know, January is 43 years. I mean, I think it works. I mean, I don't know. So, but it's so funny. I do that every time. And then normally the room is kind of 1/3, maybe even 1/2 are familiar with astrology and horoscopes and things like that. I mean, when I was growing up, my mom, I'd read those little books of horoscopes all the time, and Pisces. And I think, how can that apply to everybody? And then I'd go through what it said I was going to go through, and I was like, how did that happen? You know, you talk about the energy. The other thing I compare it to is for years I've had sinus headaches. And, you know, when you have a sinus headache, you just feel like your body moves, but your head's back there. It just feels like your head's up. And because I've had sinus headaches all my life. And that's what I compared it to. It's just, you know, getting headaches for no apparent reason. Whoever said being sleepy, spot on. You know, I got being retired. I woke up at 9 o'clock this morning, 9 o'clock. And I got a lot of sleep, but yet 2 or 3 o'clock, I felt like I had to take a nap. I didn't. I wanted to, but I didn't. I had stuff to do. And and just the energy is just so funky. You know, it's just like it's like an out of tune guitar or an out of tune piano. You know,
I compared it to Langoliers. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Did you watch the Langoliers? It was on years ago. It's a Stephen King adaptation.
No, it sounds familiar.
I'm trying to decide what to say without giving the whole thing away. But it turned out they were just a few minutes off of space and time. They were just a few minutes behind, and that's really part of how I feel. Every once in a while, I just feel like that I'm, you know, out of that space-time continuum, you know. It just, for lack of a better description, but I do know that feeling too. And when do you ever nap during the day?
Yeah,
regularly
in the afternoon sometimes.
Do you have weird dreams when you nap during the day?
Oh yeah, I wake up feeling extremely sluggish, just like I've been through, you know, 8 rounds or 10 rounds of a boxing match. And I'm a lover, not a fighter. But that's just how I feel. I just wake up going, oh, and it takes me 2 or 3 hours to get out of that. That's why I like to get sleep and not take a nap. I just have a to-do list. I like to go and checklist. But yeah.
I think that we experience the same thing when we're asleep at night for longer, but we just don't remember it. And I think that when we take naps, that we're more apt to remember what we did or where we went while we were asleep, because we're totally going somewhere, because that's what we do when we're asleep, is we go do the other stuff that we need to do. Yeah,
I dreamt the other day that I played golf, and I detest golf. I don't play it. I'm not good at it. I used to do it maybe with my buddies for a beer or two, and now I don't drink anymore. So, you know, I just like to ride in the cart, I guess. I don't know. It's just, and I just remembered it today. Today, I just remembered that it was a dream, that I made a shot and slid past a hole, or putt and slid past a hole. And I was like, wow, that was a dream. That it seems so lifelike. But I haven't golfed in, I don't know, right before I went into the hospital, I played around with some folks, some fellas. And so it's been, I don't know, 3 years, I guess. So.
I'm looking up what it means to dream about playing golf. And one of it is it's finding a moment of peace in your life. It's where you go, you know, where to take some time for yourself. And then it's also a little bit about competitiveness, but I guess it would depend on more details about what was going on in your dream. So that's very interesting.
It's funny. Everybody that I know plays golf doesn't find any peace in it. They get so angry and they throw their clubs like, and just hit me. And I'm like, it's just a game. We're not on TV. We're not competing for money, you know? So anyway.
I like being outside, but no, it's not suited to my personality. I'm one of those people that gets very frustrated. It just takes a long time. And anyway, I'll ride in the cart. So Um, so
And the
let's
golf
see, it's
course.
20 past 7. We've got more chatting that I want to do, but why don't we take a couple of readings, and
Yeah,
then
let's
we can
go.
kind of get back to some of the other things.
Yeah, let's
Um,
go.
and people are giving more examples about how they're kind of really feeling off kilter right now. But I
Yeah.
also wanted to add, it seems like that the world, the United States and the world as a whole is very chaotic right now. But I promise it's not any more chaotic than it's ever been. And tell me how you feel, Jerry, but I really feel like that this is just simply the old ways of things breaking down, and that new
Yeah.
ways will start up.
Yeah, it's old systems that have maybe run their course, and now
Mhm.
it's time for renewal, rebirth. And, you know, for something to be created, something must be destroyed. An
Mhm.
idea, a thought, a product, a project, a mission. Something has, and I say destroyed, it's a harsh word. Something has to go away for something new to be created. And it's like, it's like like shedding skin or something. I mean, you know what I'm saying? And just,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's always been chaotic, but we've never had the social media that we do today, that in the
Right.
last 5 to 10 years. So everything's recorded live. Um, it's amazing. You look at some of the old stuff on TV, and they didn't have the technology we do,
Mhm.
that we do today. And so I just think everything is highlighted and exaggerated, actually, to a point. The
Mhm.
country has always kind of been kind of split, quite honestly. And
Mhm.
it just didn't happen in the last 10 years or so. It's kind of always been like that, but it's not been as much passion behind it, misguided, a lot of it misguided. And yeah, and you look at every corner of the world, there's something going on,
Mhm.
where somebody doesn't like what somebody has said, or
Mhm.
what somebody has put on social media,
Mhm.
and boy, then they go after it. I mean,
Mhm.
whether it's a bullying. I mean, yeah, I was bullied in the 8th grade. I think everybody kind of at one point or another gets bullied, unfortunately. But now today, it's taken a more violent. You got, again. I think social media is good, but I also think
Mhm.
social media can be,
Mhm.
in and of itself, it's not going to solve problems. It's going to create more problems than it solves. And I
Mhm.
think everything's just blown up.
Mhm.
Uh, you know, think about it. We've kind of forgotten about Ukraine and Russia.
Oh yeah, I haven't.
Well, I know,
I
but you know what?
yeah.
It's on.
Just watching that play out. Yeah.
Yeah, it's on the second. Well, I know because you've got relatives, but it's on the second or third page of the newspaper. Second
It
page,
is.
it's all
Yeah.
the midterms and the politics. Just get the midterms over. I'm tired of listening to it. Whoever wins,
Yeah.
win. Whoever loses, loses.
Yeah. So another reminder too, a lot of us that grew up Catholic or Christian believe that Jesus is going to come and save us all. And really, I don't think Jesus is coming here. I think we're going to meet him where he is, vibrationally, energetically. We need to raise ourselves to that place.
Oh, that's an interesting
And
point. Yeah.
yeah, and it's just about keeping an even keel, keep being just of the highest vibration that you can and staying out of the news and out of the 3D drama that we encounter every day. Easier said than done, but we'll be there.
Yeah, I did. We'll talk about it later. I did my very first workshop, because I really don't do workshops. I don't have an area of expertise to do a workshop. I
Mhm.
do gallery readings. And I did one the other day, and in preparing for it, I was in the back room going, yeah, I'm still Catholic and still Christian. And the head of the church said, yeah, we've all moved on from that, Jerry. What's wrong with you? I go, I
Mm,
don't know. I got
yeah.
to bring visibility to Catholics about these gifts. That's my, yeah.
And that's a good, I grew up Catholic as well. So, okay, this sounds like another show that we need
Yeah.
to talk about
Yeah.
about merging mainstream Christian religion with the things that we do here.
Yeah.
So, okay, Antonio, Antonio, hope you're still with us. So we're going to do a few messages and then we're going to have more discussion. He'd like a message from mom or spirit.
Oh, Antonio. I know Antonio. Antonio. Yeah. So let's see. Oh, Antonio, there's two women coming through. So I don't know if it's mom and a sister or something, but they came through together. Could be a mom, mother-in-law, could be, it's not a grandmother. I don't see a grandmother because grandmothers to me have a higher vibration. Sorry, Antonio. They have a higher vibration, right? And they come through with, again, a higher vibration, higher essence. But I'm looking at something around your mom's neck. And I don't want to say it's a pendant or a necklace, but it's shiny. It's very shiny. Might be a necklace. And I'm looking at, there's, Antonio, there's a D, the initial D. And again, initials and names are not my specialty, but when I see it, I'm going to, Antonio, I'm going to give it to you. And so there's this the initial D, excuse me. And she's got a little boy with her, and don't know if somebody lost a son or a cousin or whatever, but there's a little boy with her, and oh my gosh, and the dog. But I don't know who the other woman is, Antonio. But she comes through. She comes through, and again, I keep going up here, Antonio. Like there's a lot of bling, but I can't make it out. I just can't make it out. And I don't know if she passed from upper body be waist up, or maybe a little bit higher, but she comes through and wants to know, have you checked your health lately? Make sure you're checking your health, and if you do, that's great. There is a slight concern about a female close to you, about that health as well, and she's excited. I don't know, Antonio, what you do, if you work, what you do for work, but there's excitement about something that's going to change or something that's going to shift. It's going to be very good. I see it. Talk about horoscope. Kind of sounds like a horoscope. I see it by the end of this year. November, December look like two really good months, and it's almost something that you've been wanting to do or been laying the groundwork for. And Antonio, she's. I don't know if she's serious or joking on this, Antonio. She likes how you have kept your hair. So I don't know. You could be bald for all I know, Antonio. I do know you, and I know I believe I've met you, but my memory's not real good. And so she just loves you, is very, very proud of you. She feels like she left very quickly. She's snapping her fingers. And again, whether it was a long illness, she just feels she went quickly. She's not saying she went before her time. She's not saying that. She just said she feels like she had some unfinished business, some things that were left unsaid, and she said it kind of crept up on her. So maybe she was sick for a while. I don't know, but and there again, the throat, something with the throat. I just can't figure that out. Yeah, something with the throat. And so, but she loves you very much. Great to hear from you. Great to hear from you. She's talking about you traveling pretty soon. So I know if you're going to go somewhere, she's talking about you traveling, but she is very, very proud of you. She talks about how you dress. She says you still dress kind of funny, kind of, I don't know. Anyway, she just said you dress kind of funny. I asked her and she didn't offer anything, but a huge smile, just a smile. Just that's all I can see of her is the smile. And these dangly earrings. And for some reason, those are standing out as validation to you, hopefully. And she just wishes you the best. And thank you for doing this. Thank you for coming on and doing this. Okay.
He said it all hits with him. He even gave the name, the D name. That was, I'm guessing it was her last name.
Okay.
So he said it really hits on. He said he has shaved his head. That's what yeah, that's what he did with it.
Moms.
With his hair. Yeah. So, all right, let's see who we got next here. Anita. Let me find her right here. She'd like a message from Spirit.
Okay. Anita Booth. I knew some booths in Memphis. Anyway, Anita, a gentleman's coming through very, very quickly. And is going like this to make sure he presents himself well. So I don't know if this is your father, Anita. I don't know. But he's acting like the father, or I don't know. Or it's another, Anita. I don't know how old you are. I can look at the picture, but I'm not trying to look at the picture. I know you got a beautiful smile. I'm getting that, but I'm getting this person is older than you. So I'm guessing a father. I want to say uncle, but I don't think the uncle would be, doing like this, almost like I'm getting ready to knock on the door, and unless it's an old boyfriend, Anita, and we won't go there, but unless it's an old boyfriend and he's passed, or an ex that's passed, but he's trying to impress you, and he says, you look, oh, it's gotta be a father. It's gotta be a father. And I'm sorry if your father's still living, I'm just sorry, not trying to rush him into the spirit realm. But this is somebody close saying you're just as beautiful as you were. I'm going to come out and say it, as you were the day you were born. Okay. And if your father's still living, then I've just misinterpreted it, and I don't mind saying that. Seems like, Anita, you had a health scare in the last 12 to 18 months. There's a health scare. And there's still some lingering effects from that, from what I'm hearing. And he sees you on the mend. You're strong. You have a lot of courage. He said you've done some courageous things, just some courageous things. And so I do see your health getting better. Almost seeing a move too. I don't know if you just moved or you're getting ready to think about moving, but spirit, I use God, universe, and spirit kind of interchangeably. Now, spirit to me is God's breath of divine energy. It's almost like, I'm a Catholic, it's almost like Holy Spirit's the energy that moves the Trinity, right? And so, but this has nothing to do with Catholicism. It's just my definitions of spirit. And yeah. I don't know if you have children, Anita. So this is a boy. And so it's either a son or it's a nephew that's close, or what have you. Yeah, it's either going to be a son or a nephew. And there's a little bit of questionable decisions that the boy has made, or questionable path that the boy is on. The boy could be 10 for all I know, or 9 or 8 or whatever. But he needs with the right peer group to get on a better path. And, I don't mind telling you, I'm not too sure about the message the information I just got. I don't mind telling you, I'm not too sure. But anyway, I'm just going to give it to you, and hopefully it resonates. This gentleman just thinks you're beautiful. Yeah, it's almost like you're a hairdresser, because he talks about how you've changed your hair multiple times. And so I'm going to leave that with you. And I think Christmas time is going to be a very big time for you, Anita. For some people, it's not. For some people, it's kind of a down, depressing time, but it's going to be a big time. It's going to be better than last year's. Let's just say the holidays, right? The holidays are going to be better than last year's holidays. Okay.
Nice.
Thank you, Anita.
Nice. So if everybody will hang out with us, we should get to everybody tonight. So
cool.
Even if we go a little bit past 8. So, and I see a lot of new faces on here and names. So we really do want to try to get to everybody.
Fantastic.
So let's go to Teresa, like a message.
Okay, Teresa. All right. First one, this was going to come from Spirit. All right. And I'm a clairvoyant. And clairvoyant, you see pictures, you see images, and sometimes they're literal, sometimes they're symbolic. A lot of clairvoyant symbolic, like pieces of a puzzle. Watch Tyler Henry on Netflix, Life After Death. He's probably one of the better clairvoyants I've ever seen. He's a clairvoyant medium. He just uses psychometry and things to connect. But what I'm sensing is it is time for a change. It's time for change. It's time. It's a time to believe in yourself. Let me look at your first name again. Okay, Teresa. Sorry. It's time for you to believe in yourself, and you don't own other people's issues. You don't own other people's issues. And I think the last 4 to 6 months has just been really, really rough on you. There's a lot of finger pointing at, and normally families, right, are close friends, but unfortunately, normally it's in families. And so I see you on a better path. A spirit has, there's a grandmother coming through, a grandmother very strong, says, believe in yourself. See, here we go. She is reinforcing what spirit says, believe in yourself, because you're a beautiful person inside and out. You've got a lot of value, a lot of worth. There's, we're the only ones that have a low self-esteem. We created ourselves. We manifested ourselves. And to think of ourselves less than the creator, God, infinite intelligence, whatever, the universe, whatever phrase you want to use. But I see some much better times for you. I see a chance for you to relax, allow what you're hearing from spirit, from the universe, and allow and trust in what you're getting. I think you have gifts, Teresa. I really, really do. And I think you connect well, but I'm seeing a much better time ahead of you. I'm hearing finances are going to improve. That's not Jerry. Jerry would never make that statement. It's spirit. And so, finances are always a tough thing. I'm seeing relationships are going to improve. Here we go. And oh my gosh, all three. The trifecta, Mary Ellen. The trifecta, when people want a reading, a lot of times it's relationships, health, and finance, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm seeing your health improving too. So I'm really excited. Get excited. And you've been going through what Mary and I have been talking about. You've had, it's like when retrogrades, it's like attending an ADD convention, right? I mean, it's all over the place, right? And believe in yourself. The help will come from yourself and your higher self, that point of contact with God. And if you can get to some time to meditate for just 5-10 minutes a day, I think you're going to be much, much better. So I hope that helps you, Teresa. Thank you for logging on tonight. We appreciate it. Thank you, Teresa.
Come here. I needed to grab my co-pilot here.
Your co-pilot.
Yes. And there's a reason why I picked him up, which I'm going to bring us to our next person. I'm trying to think. So she didn't exactly ask a question, but I'm just going to pull up one of her comments. So you can connect with her energy here. Hang on.
Okay.
Find it.
What's your co-pilot's name?
Is it Mr. Bingley? If anybody's seen Pride and Prejudice, Mr. Bingley was my favorite character from the.
I didn't see the Keira Knightley.
Well, so, Mr. Bingley's got hair this color, so.
Is her name pronounced Gemma?
Gemma, yes.
Gemma, Gemma, thank you.
Yeah.
Great picture, Gemma. Beautiful picture. She's going to be in Orlando, Florida this weekend.
Yes.
Gemma, I don't know where you're from, but it's hot. And I hope it's cool. I won't be here on Saturday, unfortunately. I'll be at Port St. Lucie doing a gallery reading and spending time with some of the best people in the world that I know. So I'll be gone all day Saturday, but I'm glad you're coming to Orlando. Spend lots of money. Our economy needs it. Our local economy needs it. Don't know where she's from. I don't know. Why am I getting a Kentucky connection? And I'm not trying to
not tell him that. I did not tell him that. That's scary good.
Oh, okay. I love Kentucky, if that's where you're from. I love Kentucky. I have relatives in Kentucky. Hickman, Kentucky, if you know where Hickman is, right over the Tennessee border. And I've got nephews in Louisville. Welcome to Orlando. But I see you taking another trip. And Gemma, God, I love that name. Gemma, I see you taking a trip out west. I think in 2023, I see us being just like I think you're starting to feel awakened, is a real awakening. So I think you are ascending, what we talk about ascending. When you start, Gemma, start thinking about things that you wouldn't normally think about, and you start pondering, not what is life all about, but when you start pondering that, you're starting to ascend. You're starting to reach a higher vibration. You're starting to look for more. I think you're really young. You have a really young energy about you. Does she have dogs? Is that why you brought up the dog? Does she have dogs?
Yes. That's Mr. Bingley's birth mom. Well,
Oh, wow. Wow.
so to speak.
Well, Gemma, I used to sell dog and cat food for 35 years. And sorry, Gemma, but we ended up with a cat, which I never thought I would end up with a cat. And our kids wanted a cat, and I didn't like the cat, but then the cat bonded with me because that's what cats do. They go to the person, and I love that cat. Had it for 19 years. We still really never knew, Gemma, if it liked us or not. We just never could quite figure out. But we love the cat. Oh, she has a dog in spirit. She's got more than one. There's a dog in spirit. So I don't know if there's a dog in spirit connected to her, whether it's hers or parents or whatever, but there is a dog in spirit that loves to travel with her. Of course, they can do that. Loves to travel with her and talks about how gentle a person she is. So this dog in spirit spends time wherever Gemma lives. Sorry about that, Gemma. And don't know the dog in spirit name. I have difficult enough figuring out humans' name when they pass, much less animals. But there was something with this dog's legs. The quality of life was really deteriorating, and now the dog is running. So I don't know if it's hers or mom's, but there's a dog here that's somehow through a bloodline of your people connected to you. Yeah. Is Gemma? I think she lives on a big place, a plot of land. I don't know. I see a plot of land, and if she doesn't live on there, she's going to move to something that has a plot of land. So, Gemma, I think this is a really good time for you. And, dogs and cats are so spiritual. They really can teach us a lot. Yeah. I think that's all I've got for Gemma.
She said there is a dog in spirit, and then she does live on a big farm, like you talked about. So, okay, so and she is going west, she said as well. So,
oh, good. She from Kentucky?
Yes.
What part? I don't know what part, but
I think Louisville. You can correct me, Gemma, if I'm wrong.
Louisville's a nice city, very nice city.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, Mr. Bingley was a COVID dog. He was born right after the quarantine. So
wow.
We were very blessed to get him. He's very tired today. The bubble bus came to give him and Poppy baths. So
the bubble bus.
Yeah.
I'm glad you explained it. My mind just ran wild. I just don't know what that meant.
Yeah.
It's the bubble bus.
It was a big day for him. So like I said, we should get to everybody who wants a reading tonight, but let's talk a little bit about your class that you took recently. You wanted.
Oh, I was so excited, Mary Ellen. I speak. Sorry, I can't talk tonight. I speak at two churches here, even though I'm Catholic and a Christian. These are obviously non-Catholic churches. This one is Spiritualist Church of Awareness. I speak there about every 2 or 3 months. It's in Orlando. And Lumina Spiritual Center. Betsy Perez, who Betsy is the pastor there, great group, and a great group at Spiritualist Church of Awareness. And Annette Brown really does a great job running it. So they asked me if I want to do a workshop. And I went, I'm not an expert in it. And then I thought clairvoyance. That's the really first gift I learned. So I did a clairvoyant class, a workshop. We had 14 people. I was surprised we had that many. I didn't know who would come. And we talked about the difference between psychic and clairvoyant. Where clairvoyant, you can connect with spirit. Psychic, you really can't. You're reading energies and on the path. What you do is a clairvoyant and you do the mediumship. But the great thing about psychic and clairvoyant gifts is they sometimes lead to mediumship, which that's what happened with me. But here's what I did, Miriam. I said, I want to do strictly a clairvoyant reading with the 14 people. Spirit said, okay, get your cards out. We'll write something down. So I got the cards out. And Marianne, I wrote one word on each card. I wrote like lamp, detergent, ketchup. It was just bizarre stuff. And I went around in 1 hour, gave a strictly clairvoyant reading to 14 people. Spirit was just moving so beautifully. Nobody who had passed came through. Because Spirit knew that's what it wasn't there for. And we did a remote viewing session too. had a picture. I said, this is a picture. Here's your 8 to 10 numbers. They mean something to this picture. And they all guessed. They all not guessed, but they all came up using their energy with clues. Flipped it over, and it was a picture of Bill Clinton. And I mean, they singled in on Arkansas and the red Razorback, or the red razor. I mean, I kept telling them, you're going to do much better than what you think you're going to. Just use your energy, use whatever gifts you have. And I just told them it was a picture, because that's how I learned from Deborah Lynn Katz, who's one of the leading clairvoyants, and she's done remote viewing for 25 years.
Wow.
It was just, now, here's the funny thing. So at the end, I said, hey, we got 15, 20 minutes. Let's do psychometry. I've only done it once or twice. Mary Ellen, it was an unmitigated disaster.
Oh, no. Interesting.
Yeah, but, it was funny. I mean, everybody was dying laughing. And because and they put objects in I said, oh, this belongs. I think I said this belonged to a grandmother. And because I don't want to look at it. Once you look at a subject or object, the left side of the brain starts to label it. And I don't know what else lovely stuff I said. And I pulled it out. It was a little thing of mace that the guy. So I went, well, I think I was 2 for 10. I think I got 2 right. And,
interesting.
That's
so
okay.
You just find the ways you connect to spirit better.
Yeah, you watch Tyler Henry. He connects with that's how he channels. That's channeling. And he does a psychometry. So I am going to take a psychometry class to see if I'm any better at it than I was. But it was just so fantastic. It was 2 hours. And
now, was this in person or online?
No, this was in person. We did an in-person event. And it was so nice that spirit really flowed and let me give 14 clairvoyant readings off of one word.
Wow.
And it was just some of the strangest words. One word was starter gun, which I was trying to do one word, but it ended up being 2. Oh man, it was, I'd say, what word do you have? And she goes, ketchup. I mean, it was a lot of fun, but I'm also very serious about the gift of clairvoyance, So it was great.
Well, good. Well, I'm excited to hear the work that because you're already so good. It's really neat to see what you do to kind of hone your skills. It's exciting.
I need a lot more work at psychometry. I need a lot more work.
Okay. Then maybe we could do demonstrations of that once you feel more comfortable.
Yeah, we can.
Okay. Cindy Riddle would be our next person who would like a reading.
Okay. So, all right, Cindy, there's 2 people coming through very, very quickly. And I don't know, there appears to be a couple. I don't know if it's mom and dad. I don't know if it's not unless, see, Cindy, if it's a grandmother and a grandfather and they were like a mom and dad to you, then they give off that mom and dad essence, that mom and dad energy, and that mom and dad vibration. But this doesn't appear to be grandparents, I don't think. But this couple, okay, now they're holding hands, and they kind of remind me, Cindy, you're probably too young, I'm sure. I'm 67. I'm sure you're much younger than I am. I don't know if you remember the Norman Rockwell paintings of America and Americana, right? It looks like a Norman Rockwell painting. They look like the perfect couple. Oh, they just told me the odd couple. They may have looked like the perfect couple, but they were odd. And so I don't know. Can you ask her if this is her mom and dad? Do you mind doing that?
Cindy, do you know? They were about a minute behind, but Cindy, let Jerry know if it's your mom and dad.
I'll keep going. Okay, so I'm getting something, Cindy, about relationship from this gentleman of this couple. What is he saying? He's excited about a new relationship that you're going to forge. That's an older type. That's a word that somebody like me would use at 67. Forge ahead, right? That's an older term. And
she said yes, that was who you thought it was, by the way.
Okay. Okay, they're very proud of her, although she needs to be proud of herself. Here goes the mom. Uh, anyway, the father says, the mom's interrupting the father. Yeah, that normally happens. Because as men, we kind of stammer when we talk, if you hadn't noticed. But Cindy, your father says this new relationship that's going to appear doesn't necessarily, it could be working, could be a friend, could be, but it says new relationship that will help you. Oh my gosh, that will help you define your purpose. And don't know if she's married, single, divorced, whatever. Hopefully not widowed, because I don't see anybody yet that's connected to her that way. Your mom, Cindy, comes through and says, please don't be so hard on yourself. Don't compare yourself to other people. They do come through and say that an awful lot. It's one of the most dangerous things we can do, Cindy, compare ourselves to other people. Like, you know, I should be more like that person. Look what they're doing. And at the same time, people are saying, I want to be more like Cindy. Look what she's doing. And so a heart, I don't know if one of them had a heart issue, but I'm putting my, I like the blue hearts. The blue hearts. I'm putting my hand over my chest, Cindy. So I think there's something there with the heart with one of them. I felt like one of the passing was pretty seamless and the other one not so much. And so they're proud of you, but they want you to be proud of yourself and your accomplishments. They go, start looking back and forget about the mistakes. The mistakes are what makes us stronger, right? Fall down 7 times, get up 8, and you continue to get up. Something about a new car. I don't know if you got a new car, Cindy, or they say it's time for a new car, or they like your new car. There's just something about a new car or a newer car, different car. But they like what you're doing. They like the path you're on, and you've come through. They just said, I'll leave this with you. So they said, you've been to hell and back multiple times. So you've had a rough time of it. I'm not talking about greener pastures, because I would never say that, but a little bit smoother ride is coming up. A smoother, I'm saying, see, here goes clairvoyant, Cindy. I'm saying a paved road, where before the road I saw was rocky, a lot of dirt, a lot of rocks. And it's a symbol for a very uneven road. And now I see a smooth paved road. So I think things are going to really get smooth, for a while. I don't know how long, but for a while. Thank you, Cindy.
Okay, very good. Let's see here. And again, we should get to everybody who has requested a reading up until this point. So Lisa would like some guidance about work.
I know, Lisa. Yeah, I know. I think. Wait a minute. Maybe oh, man. That sounded creepy, didn't it? I didn't mean to. I know Elisa, and her last name began with J, so I don't know if it's Johnson or Jackson. So, Elisa, if I don't know you, I apologize I said that. I can tell you very strongly it's time for a change. It's time for a shift. And you may enjoy the work, but you may enjoy the people and not sure you enjoy the work, right? And it is time for a change, and time for a shift. So if you work for a big company, it could be, Lisa, it could be another department, could be, I worked for a huge company, one of the largest in the world, and named after a planet. So go ahead and figure that out. It's not named after a planet, but anyway. And so, oh my gosh. Yeah, it's just time. I don't know. Lisa, here's the thing. I do know, Lisa, I see that smiling face. I don't know if now I got to get my memories out of it. I got to get those memories out. I don't know if you're using all of your talent right now. There's a lot more for you to do, And she's the one that helped at Spirit Fest, wasn't she?
Yes, that's her.
Bam. That's because of the memory. That's my memory coming through. And she's such a sweetheart. She's such a great person. I do see.
She said she got a job and it went wonky.
Yeah.
So that's what she's kind of wondering what the next step is.
Yeah. Yeah. You've got a lot of energy and you take on a lot of energy, right? So you're an empath, and we've talked about this in the past, not trying to use previous readings. My readings with her have just been phenomenal. She's just a phenomenal person. But I do feel that I got to make sure this isn't Jerry. I do feel the best time to look for a job is when you have a job. That's Jerry. That's Jerry. Up to a point. Now, Spirit just jumped in and said, well, Jerry, up to a point. Because wonky can make you feel drained. It can make you feel unappreciated, which I'm hearing. Make you feel almost abused. Like they're abusing. It's like you do one thing and they ask you to do 2 or 3 other things that are out of your job description. To me, that's corporate abuse, right? Or company abuse, business abuse. And I think it's going to get worse and worse, unfortunately. It's almost like, okay, Mary Ellen, you're a big Star Wars fan. Remember the bar scene in the first Star Wars movie? That's what her work. That's my favorite. Dun, 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 dun. That's what I feel is her workplace, is that bar scene in Star Wars in which everybody is different. Everybody seems bizarre. And, it's almost like Green Acres, right?
So where does she go from here?
She needs to look outside her area, outside the area, Lisa, that you live in. You need to look outside the area you live in. And you may be doing this by remote. I don't know, Lisa, because I didn't realize you had a job unless you told me in Orlando. And if you did, I don't remember it. But it's time to look outside. It may be time to move out of the comfort zone, and because there's something that will bring you more financial reward than, and that's what I'm hearing, to look outside. And you may have to move. I hate to say that, or you may have to relocate. I hate to say that, but that's what Spirit is telling me. Mm-hmm. So I'll leave that with you. Thank you so much, Lisa.
Okay.
It was great seeing you in Orlando.
She will be in Port St. Lucie as well.
Bam.
Yeah.
See you Saturday.
Yeah. Okay, let's go to Ruth. Ruth would like a message, any message.
Ruth, look at all the energy around that picture. Wow. Wow. Oh. All right, Ruth, you have so much energy. I'm trying to okay, so Ruth, here comes Spirit again. God, universe, and Spirit being my definition, not everybody's definition, of course. God's breath of divine energy. So the energy that, first of all, it would be surprising if I heard that relationships went well with Ruth, because a lot of people can't match her energy. And that's not her fault. She just has a lot of energy, right? And so if she is in a good relationship, that's good. That means somebody has been able to accept that energy that she has. And unfortunately, I do see we all have experienced heartbreak, but I do see some heartbreak with Lisa. I'm sorry, we're through. I'm sorry. I got to disconnect from Lisa. Ruth, I'm sorry about that, Ruth. That was rude of me. But I do think it's time. It really is time for a new chapter in your life. And my clairvoyant signal from that is a flip chart and tearing off and just, or a book, tearing a page out of a book and say it's time for a new chapter. And if nobody else is going to help you write that chapter, that's okay. I feel Ruth is misunderstood a lot because she is so, Marilyn, she is so ascendant. It's not like her head is in the clouds. You hear the expression, somebody's head is in the clouds. Hers beyond the clouds. I mean, she really, I get celestial with Ruth. I really do. I think her ideal vacation would be staring at the stars at night with nobody else around. I really get that with her. That's an ascendant. Here we go with an awakening. Even during this rough month or 2 or 3 that we talked about, and here is these people, and they're awake. There's awakening. So it gives the human race a lot of hope. If she's not in a relationship, I feel that one, if she is, I'm getting weird vibes about it. But if she's not, I'm feeling one is on the cusp. And I normally don't talk about relationships, but Spirit said it was important I say that. This feeling that Ruth has let people down, Spirit says is ridiculous. She charts her own path, and she needs to follow her own path, not listen to anybody. That's family, that's friends. Well, look at Ruth. Look at what she's doing. We just don't understand. Okay, then they don't understand. You don't own other people's issues. That's what Spirit tells me all the time, Ruth. That's what I say all the time. That's what Spirit tells me. When I get a little bit upset or when people come at me, Spirit just reminds me. I see the next 2 months and actually January. So let me look at December and January. And again, I'm not a horoscope guy, but I'm saying December and January as 2 really defining months for you. Don't wait for it. Put yourself in position. And I have a feeling Ruth meditates, but if she doesn't, Spirit's calling for 5 to 10 minutes of meditating a day. And like I said, when we hear nothing is when we hear everything, right? So thank you, Ruth. I hope that helps. I really do. And we're glad you're here. We're glad you're here.
She said, I always say I beat my own drum. I wasn't made to fit in a box. So I think you were spot on with her from the comments that she's left here. So, okay, we have a couple more and let's see.
Let's get them.
I'm finding a post there so you can connect with them. Where is she? We're calling on Siobhan here. I just need to find her.
That's her first name, Siobhan?
Siobhan, yes.
Oh, what a beautiful name.
I'm sorry. I usually have these all ready to go.
That's all right. Don't worry about it.
There she is.
Siobhan. I think I know Siobhan. Or the name is familiar, so we'll see. We'll see, but all right. First thing that comes through, excuse me while I grab some water. First thing that comes through, Siobhan, is in life we're running from things or running to things, right? And Spirit says it's time to stop running from things and start running to things. Start running to, we have 3 selves, Siobhan. We have the false self, the true self, the higher self. And the false self is really role dominant. Like I was a pet food salesperson. That's a role. That's not my true self. It's a false self, but it's not a negative. So it's time to run to your true self to find your higher self. Boy, this is really deep. I hope that makes sense, Siobhan. True self is who you really are as a person. I'm a person of passion. I'm a person of passion and compassion. Those aren't roles. Those are who you really are. And by finding your true self and who you really are and a lot of this too, Siobhan, can make sense when you look for doing something. Like there's a lot of people in sales that I've run into that were perfect for human resources because they were so people oriented. They weren't sales oriented. So they had the passion and the compassion to deal with people, but they didn't have the tolerance for sales. And I feel you're in the wrong profession. I don't know. But is she a doctor? Why am I getting doctor with her? Anyway, so run into your true self, to find your true self, which I think is meditation, and finding out who you are, finding out what are the things you want to do, not what are the things you need to do, Siobhan, but you make a list of the things you want to do. That will lead you to your higher self, which is that part of our soul. Our soul is not encased in our body. Part of it is in our higher self. That's the point of contact with God. And that will lead you on a more sacred spiritual path. I think you're a spiritual person. I think you're well-grounded. And I think you're definitely a healer. Like everybody that I've talked to here tonight, and Mary Ellen are healers. Women are natural-born healers. They're natural-born empaths. That's what makes motherhood And I think Siobhan she's got really high intuition. Um, Now it's time to put some energy to that intuition, and and make your decisions and stand by them, Siobhan. And I think that's going to help you find. I know this is kind of deep for me to say, but find, and you can look up false self, true self. You can look that stuff up, but you look up higher self. That's going to put you on a path to using your gifts. I think you have many gifts. I would be surprised if you weren't a nurse or in some type of healing, because I see you as a really big time healer. And so I just think that's where your gifts are needed. There's not enough healers in this world. So thank you, Siobhan.
Okay, pursue as a healer. Okay. Okay. Two more and then we've got to go. And so hang on. I'm trying to make sure that these people are still with us here.
Okay.
And you were getting comments too. You can look at it after the show from the people that you've read and said that you were spot on. And I know.
Oh, good. I appreciate that. Thank you, folks.
Okay, Adele.
Adele.
Mm-hmm.
My DOS spirit. What is DOS? Is that dad?
I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah, dad.
Adele, is that dad?
Mm-hmm. I think she calls him Da. So she wants to know for Da.
Yeah, my Southern, of course, I pronounced the S, which I shouldn't have done. Yeah, I think right now she feels a chill. What I get is one of them is tall and one of them is short, and I can't figure out which one is, but I almost, well, it doesn't matter because the spirits come to me as 45-degree angles. They don't come to me as, I rarely see the feet unless they're trying to show me shoes for some reason as validation to the person. But I'm seeing your father looking over you. He's really close to you now. And he has a sweater. So I don't know if there was a sweater that he was very fond of, but it looks like, again, Adele, you're much younger than me, I'm sure. And you probably never saw the sweaters that some of us old people would wear. They're, the button-up sweaters, We don't have many use for sweaters in Florida, Adele. But he is so close to you. And what was he saying? What was he talking about? He's got glasses, and that's no big stretch. I mean, everybody. But why do I feel he went before his time? I mean, nobody goes before their time, right? That's the soul plan. That's it's in the Akashic records. Bible calls it Book of Life, right? Same thing. He seems young to me. I saw an older person, of course, but now all of a sudden he looks younger. So, and he's presenting. Here we go, Norman Rockwell. Nobody knows who Norman Rockwell is. He's presenting himself as sitting in a chair with a pipe, which can be symbolic. Okay. And there's a dog over here. And there's a fireplace. It really looks like a Norman Rockwell painting. It really is beautiful. I don't know if Adele's from someplace where it snows. I see a lot of snow on the outside. I see a window and a lot of snow on the outside. And once again, there is a dog with him. So the dog part is true. When I see a dog, I see like a Labrador or a golden retriever. It doesn't mean that's what they are. That's just, it's easier for me. Spirit knows, bigger the dog, it's easier for me to spot. And he loves you so, so much. And I don't know, here we go again, something with the throat. I don't know if he, toward the end of his life, if he could articulate what he wanted to say, but he can say it now. You never, never disappointed him as a daughter. You surpassed, which is beautiful. You surpassed, and now he's crying. He's sitting on a couch. Couch has like a green, it's like a older looking couch, maybe a couch from when he was, I don't know, growing up or not growing up, but when he was married and you guys were small or whatever. I said, you surpassed, and we do this as parents, I surpassed any expectations that he ever had for you to make a success out of yourself. And once again, he just thinks you look to other people's successes and somehow think mine doesn't match, doesn't matter compared. And he says, just stop it. You're being silly. He taught in a foreign language. I just told him I'm from the South. I can barely speak English, right? But he just taught in a foreign language. I don't know what that foreign language is, because it's stop it. And it was a foreign language that meant stop it. So I don't know. Is that German?
Adele is from our favorite place. Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Ireland.
Yep.
Yeah. But he used, unless he was speaking Gaelic, and I hope I pronounced that right, because Gaelic is a whole different language. Mm-hmm. Twice in Ireland. I'd go back there every year if I could. Every summer I'd go back there. My dream is to have a gallery reading, a session in Ireland.
Noted.
Yeah, that's my dream.
But Adele, if you didn't hear all of the message that he had for you, you can go back and listen to this and replay. In fact, anybody who got a reading tonight, this is always available on our site, so you can listen and replay too. But
her dad is near her a lot. Yeah.
Wonderful. Okay. All right. We have room for just one last, very quick, because it's well.
Let's do it. We
for hanging in. Nicole Sunshine particularly wants to know about work. She's got something going on at work and just wondered what you might have to say or think about that.
I know Nicole Sunshine.
Yes, you do.
I'm hearing, Nicole, that hang in there a little while longer. There's some changes going to be made. It's going to be beneficial to you. Changes, let's say at the top, or changes unless you own the.
Ooh. Jerry's frozen. Uh-oh. Oh, who's right in the middle of a good thing too. Hopefully he'll come back. I know Nicole's like, no. Adele, I see the message. I wish that I could even begin to pronounce what you wrote, but she said thanks a million in Irish to those of you who are still listening. So it may be, Nicole, if he's frozen for another few minutes, we just end up here and he can send you a message with what it is that he was going to say. But it sounded like it was really good. I can't wait to hear what he's going to say. So. Like I said, everybody, it is about 8:13 and Jerry's gone. So let's wrap up for tonight. Thank you all so much for being with us. And we hope to be back in 2 weeks and to have these shows regularly from now on. No more huge breaks between everything. So from the Central New York Sanctuary, thank you for being with us. And we hope to see you again soon. Thanks so much. Bye.